What a lot of people don't want to talk about these days is the fact that weight loss, or any kind of fitness goal to be exact, is a game of trial and error. And what I mean by that is that a lot of people try one thing, fail, and then give up, even though they should have just taken that as a learning opportunity instead of just sacking it off completely. And that might sound a little bit confusing, so let me break it down for you a little bit. So there's certain rules, there's certain things that you need to adhere to in order to get specific results. So for example, in order to successfully lose fat, you need to be creating a calorie deficit, i.e. consuming less calories than what you burn off. That will cause fat loss to accrue no matter what happens. All good. In order to build muscle, you need to be focusing on progressive overload, i.e. focusing on progressing a certain exercise and progressing the intensity of whatever it is that you're doing each time you do it in order to cause and force your body to adapt. And when I say it like that, the whole thing sounds pretty simple, right? And that's because it is simple, but it's not easy because these things don't take human behavior into consideration. If you go up to somebody and you say, lose fat by creating a calorie deficit, what you know what I mean? What does that mean? What does that do? They probably already know that, because the issue isn't knowledge, the issue is application, the issue is actually doing what you've been taught. So even though that person will need to be creating a calorie deficit in order to lose fat, the way they go about it is going to be different to somebody else. Some people like being restricted from certain foods by adopting a specific diet for some reason. I don't know, maybe they're a sub or something, I don't know. Whereas other people prefer calorie tracking. They prefer making a note of the amount of calories that they're eating and making sure it fits their caloric budget. So even though both of these things create a calorie deficit, they are gone about in different ways. And a lot of the time when people try out these things, they try out these ways of creating a calorie deficit, and they either don't notice results or they can't stick to it, is that they give it up completely and don't even start again for another year until they realise, oh shit, I look like shit, I need to go on holiday, let's try that other diet, I know. Or even worse, they try the same thing. That is the thing that's mental. Like, if something didn't work the first time, or it didn't work to get you results for life, then why are you going to go back to it? It's kind of like a relationship, isn't it? Imagine if you had like a really, really toxic partner, treated you like shit, made you feel worthless, made you feel ugly, cheated on you multiple times. Would you then go back to that partner in a year's time because you felt lonely? I know some people that would, but we know that that's not the right way to go about it, because that relationship most likely is going to end the exact same way. Just like going back to a previous diet is most likely going to end the exact same way too. And this is where trial and error comes into it. It's all about a numbers game. It's all about trying something. If it doesn't work, trying something else. Try something. If it doesn't work, try something else. If the restrictive diet doesn't work for you, try calorie counting. Calorie counting doesn't work for you, try a meal plan. And that's coming from me. I hate meal plans. I hate restricted diets. I'm very biased towards calorie counting because I can see the value in which it actually brings people. But if it doesn't work for you, that's fine. You don't have to do it. Find something that does work for you, because it's all a numbers game, and eventually you're going to find something that does work and which will result in success. Kind of like we all know somebody who's punching above their weight. We all know somebody who's not very attractive but pulls a lot on nights out. And that's simply because they played the numbers game. They have literally tried, failed, and then eventually they've got a result because they just keep on trying, they don't worry about the failures, and they aim for success. This is what you're supposed to be doing with your fat loss journey. If something doesn't work, don't worry. Try something else, or try a different way of doing it instead. Hope that helps, and I hope that makes sense. If you do like this video, feel free to give it a like. It helps me out more than you'll ever realise. If you've got any questions, feel free to comment below, because I'd be more than happy to talk to you about it and answer any questions that you might have. Or alternatively, subscribe to this channel if you want to catch the next one. And as always, if you do want any free fat loss or fitness-based content without any of the typical bullshit in the industry at the moment, feel free to follow my Instagram at k.p_health. But yeah, take it easy.